Hi there, and welcome to the Skylight Books author reading series. If you'd like to learn more about us and our many upcoming author events, please visit skylightbooks.com, where you can browse our inventory, buy books, and join our Friends with Benefits Club. You can also follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Facebook. To speak to a real live bookseller like me, please call 323-660-1175. Thanks for your support, and enjoy.
Thank you so much to Skylight for putting this event together and setting things up for a beautiful celebration of the uniting of children's literature and feminism. I'll start by introducing myself. My name is Chelsea Johnson. I'm a Chicagoland native, and I use the pronouns she, her, and hers.
And my name is LaToya Council. I was born and raised in North Carolina, and I also use the pronouns she, her, and hers.
Hi, I'm Carolyn. I was born and raised here in LA, and I also use the pronouns she, her, hers.
Since there's not that many of us, do we want to introduce ourselves?
Ooh, yes.
Love to get to know you.
Well,
It's intimate.
who would like to go first? Okay.
Hi everyone, my name is Charlotte. I'm a Los Angeles native, and I'm really excited to be here and celebrate your wonderful creation and the wonderful things that you're doing in the community. Hi, my name is Danielle. I'm a writer too, a children's lit person, and I was intrigued. I don't know how I found out about this. Maybe it was through the Skylight newsletter, or maybe it was Twitter or something. But I thought this looked really intriguing and beautiful to me.
Cool, thank you.
I'm Akosa. I'm a Los Angeles native as well. I was just passing by.
Cool.
I'm excited to learn more.
Yeah,
Awesome.
welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm John.
Hey, Jonathan.
Hi, John.
Hi, I'm Kyle. I'm from Minnesota. I've been for the last 5 years now. I'm just excited to see find out a little bit more about this book.
Dope. Hey, guys.
Hi.
Thanks for coming out.
All right. So, who are we? We are 3 sociologists who use intersectional feminism in our work. And intersectional feminism believes that multiple identities and social structure should always be in conversation with each other. Writing Intersectionallies was our way to make theory more accessible to those who are most vulnerable among us.
So we envision this book as a teaching tool for feminist-minded teachers, practitioners, educators, and caregivers. We believe that a forward-thinking feminism must include children, and that children's literature is the gateway to educating entire households.
Some people might think that elementary schoolers are too young to think about politics and identity, but kids are more aware of the world around them than adults tend to assume, especially kids who run up against social problems every day due to poverty, incarceration, racism, sexism, xenophobia, and homophobia. When we ignore the most vulnerable among us, we end up centering those with the most power. The results? Kids learn about what white middle-class life as if it is the status quo, and they learn to second-guess their own voices, and they learn to devalue the perspectives of their working-class peers and their peers of color.
So parents, future parents, or aunties, uncles, by show of hands, how many of you had that experience growing up that we just talked about?
All right, so did we.
Yes.
So now let's talk about the book. We transformed feminist research by scholars into simple character narratives told in rhyme. 9 characters from diverse backgrounds introduce themselves, showing how their experiences of childhood and safety are shaped by other intersecting identities like race, class, citizenship, gender, religion, culture, and more.
So for the fun part, are you ready to meet the characters? Oh, come on. Are you ready to meet the characters? Yay. Okay, so we'll be asking questions throughout, and you all can pipe in, so listen up and get prizes. Our prize handouters, raise your hand. All right. Thank you. Vanna White's of Intersectionallies.
They were voluntold.
Voluntold. Thank you all.
All right. So we're going to step in front of this because it's easier to see. Witness the lives of a bold group of friends. If one is in need, another defends. Age is one trait that each of them share, but kids' lives are unique, as you'll soon be aware. Each child has a story and their own point of view, filled with passion and power, just like you.
My name is Alejandra, but I go by Allie. I use a chair, but it doesn't define me. Instead, it allows me to zip, glide, and play. When I need to get through, my friends help make a way.
Where there's room for some, we make room for all. Friends can be allies, no matter how small. Hello, I'm Parker. After school every day, Allie's family takes care of us both while we play. My mom works hard to provide for me. Her love is the source of our stability. Not toys or money, nor treasures untold. Community care is more precious than gold. Now, communities are made up of friends, families, neighbors, classmates, and anyone you spend time with. So Carolyn and LaToya are part of my community. Think about the people that you spend time with every day. Who's part of your community?
My neighbors.
Your neighbors.
Okay.
Church friends.
Church
Church
friends.
friends.
Absolutely. Your brother.
Awesome.
Coworkers.
Coworkers.
Absolutely.
Bingo called friends.
Yeah. Friends you go out with, friends you party with.
Skirts and frills are cute, I suppose, but my superhero cape is more cape than those bows. Some may be confused that a kid like me can wear what I want and be proud and carefree. My friends defend my choices and place. A bathroom like all rooms should be a safe space.
My name is Adila, and just like Kate, what I wear inspires endless debate. Some give, some chant, some sing, some pray. My hijab is my choice, and you can choose your own way.
The clothes that you wear never justify hatred. Clothes can be playful, simple, or sacred. Covered, adorned, or with casual flair, my body's my own. I dress it with care.
So every culture and community gives meaning to clothing, dress, and style. One way to gain respect for different groups of people around the world is to think about why their clothes are important for them. For example, my locks make me feel proud of my heritage, strength, and beauty as a Black woman. What are some of the things that you all wear that in your culture and community that have a special meaning for you?
Anyone think of any?
Anyone think of anything?
Wearing my hair as it grows out of my head. Wonderful.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
I feel you. Because I didn't always, and I do now, and that was a big thing for me. Yeah.
Welcome.
My name is Naya, and with what's on the news, it's easy to be frightened or sing the blues. For her, for them, for him, and for me, we all deserve to breathe and be free.
The color of our skin is no reason to hide. We protest for safety, equality, and pride. Our friends join along in solidarity and love. This is the stuff that allies are made of.
Identity also includes our trees and air, the land we've called home, our places of prayer. I am Dakota, and like my ancestors, my tribe and I are water protectors. From profit and power, we stand up to preserve our nations, our cultures, the respect we deserve. So Dakota, the name Dakota, means friend or ally in Lakota Sioux language. Many of the names in the book also have a special meaning. And for a lot of us, our names have a special meaning. So for example, my middle name is Elise, and my mom chose it because it was her middle name growing up. And when she got married, she made her last name her middle name, and she really felt a lot of sorrow in losing her identity and the name Elise. So when I was born, she saved it for me, and that's how I became Chelsea Elise.
In Korean, my name is Adam, and in Chinese characters means beautiful, and means crisp and clear skies. And so it meant so much to me that I got a tattoo of it on my arm.
Can you see it?
It's in Korean.
And I love my name LaToya because it's unique. I used to be ashamed of it because people would say that LaToya is too black, too ethnic, and in some cases they were like, it's too ghetto. But as I've grown older, I've embraced my name and have a pride from it. It makes me feel unique because I've never been in a space where there's just been more than one LaToya. Does anyone here know where their name comes from or what it means?
Yeah.
My name's Kabe, and it comes from, it's Persian. It comes from an old story. So I always have this kind of weird experience with people where I say my name and then I have to explain it a little bit because they're like, where's that from? And I kind of really didn't like it for a long time because I didn't want to have to stick out, kind of like you.
Yeah,
But now I've embraced it.
exactly. It's like, I love my name.
She wants me to share her name. Her name is Ella, and we named her after Ella Baker, who was an activist in the 60s who, also was critical of the civil rights movement because King and most of the people who ran it were men, and they often pushed the women to the side instead of being up at the front. So we named her after her.
Awesome.
I love that.
Ella, do you want a prize? All right. Ella gets a prize. Yay!
Does anyone else know where their name comes from? Yeah.
My name is Rashawn, and it's Arabic for warrior.
Oh, yes. I love that.
Played the game, but
Yeah.
I have two names. My English name is Charlotte, and my Vietnamese name is Ai. And Ai is a really ancient word in Vietnamese for love.
I love that. And that's so fitting for you.
Oh.
See, I know Charlotte. And it's like overflowing with fun. If you all could change your name to anything, what would you change it to? Would anyone change your name?
I ended up in Kit. Very seriously about that.
Yeah?
Yeah. My name is Gloria y tengo 7 años. After school is to la fruteria I go. Trabajo cada día junto a mi madre. Vendemos piña dulce y mangos con chile. My language and savvy allow us to thrive. I got hopes and dreams and skills and drive. Working together makes us both more secure. I'm a daughter, a partner, and an entrepreneur.
My name is Hee-jung, and I was born and I was born in Seoul. I moved here when I was 5 years old. I'm part of what's called the 1.5 generation. My Like Gloria, I am a help to my mother by translating for her one word to another. When the landlord tells mom, you can pay me next Friday, I repeat in Korean, 엄마 렌트 다음 주 금요일에 내도 된대. We navigate life in our new home together because kids have the skills to make every day better. Yay! That's so simple. So does anyone here want to learn Korean or know Korean?
I can count to like 8.
Oh, can you do it for us?
Let's see. All right. Let's see how much I can remember. 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 스물, and that's where I lose it.
Wow, that's awesome. Yay. So I wanted to teach the rest of you guys some Korean. So this is probably too long, but 사랑해. 사랑해 means love. 사랑해. People go like this in pictures. Or this. 사랑해. Like it's kind of a heart. Yeah. It's like the trend these days.
It's more of an anatomical heart rather than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
That's what I thought
True.
the first time.
It's a serious heart.
My name is Yuri, and I'm new to this place. Hijung's family welcomed me with love and with grace. Finding refuge meant traveling far from home. I sailed, I flew, I rode, I roamed. Escaping violence, war, heartache, and intrusion, we came to this nation seeking dreams and inclusion.
From near, from far, from here, from there, we're more than our origins. We all deserve care.
Race, religion, citizenship, class, ability. Each of these intersects to form identity. Age, gender, size, and skin color too can make living life different for a friend and for you.
Barriers and biases are often to blame. We strive to be equal, but not all the same. Life's ups and downs can take many forms, but standing together will rewrite the norms.
Can we say this all together?
Where there's
Room for some, we make room for all. Friends can be allies, no matter how small.
And big. So the refrain, where there's room for some, we make room for all, repeats in the book. What does making room mean to you all? Shared time.
What does making room mean?
Yeah, to you.
Listening to others and accepting them.
I think one of the ones that I find most challenging sometimes is holding space emotionally, so that it's easy to understand, although not always easy to
there's sometimes it feels like there's few ways to make a difference or to make room, but the ways in which we can think about other people who don't have the same abilities or the same privileges we have, and using what we do have to consider other people's stories and their life circumstances.
All right, and that actually leads us, Chelsea, what everyone else said, into a beautiful segue towards our end of our discussion, that as you saw in the book, Safety for Naya, an African-American child in a climate of racism, needs a different form of advocacy than for Adila, a Muslim child who is facing Islamophobia and sexism. Likewise, safety for Kate, a gender-fluid child, can be achieved differently than for Gloria, who is a child of immigrants and whose status protects her mother while selling food on the street to help their family stay safe and get by. So that's the whole point of making room, and it's beautiful when we make room for others, because it does end up, just empowering and just helping us and helping us grow as individuals as well. Power of love, the power of intersectionality.
Is there a character that spoke to any of you all, or that resonated? Just curious.
I think y'all know that Kate resonates for me, but the page that I always get the chills for is actually Dakota's page. Every time.
So does anyone recognize any of the hand signs in this photo? This one? What about this one?
I love you.
I love you, exactly. All right. I think that wraps it up.
That's
there.
it. Thank you.
So when you take the book home, or if you choose to take the book home, one of the things that we're most proud of about the book are the page notes at the end. So the stories don't end with the narratives themselves, but there are several full pages explaining the research and the sources behind each of the characters' notes. So if you care to, for the grown-ups in the room and the parents in the room, to help you with your conversations with the little ones, you can think about the discussion questions, pose them to your children, read some of the books that we used, which are here. We're academics, so we like to cite our sources. And this I found is a good way to do it for those who are coming from different directions. So thank you all so much. Yeah.
Read about us.
Do a Q&A or anything? Does anybody have any questions?
Yes.
About maybe the making of the book, or what they hope to see with the book or achieve?
Yeah.
Okay, how about I ask that?
Okay.
Okay.
No, go ahead.
Let's sit down.
Yeah, I think as like a future caretaker, future parent, I'm always in a space of trying to discern and navigate how to support children in understanding these issues and not patronizing them, but also not terrifying them, not terrorizing them, and kind of making an input on their innocence and their playfulness. And so I'm curious, during this process, I'm sure you engage with lots of children and tested it out with children and have children read it. What's their response? Are they yeah, I totally get it, or is there you kind of hope that it makes an imprint on a subconscious level, and then as they're adults they start to apply this? What response do you get from children?
So I think our favorite experience of reading the books with kids was at a third grade classroom in South LA. And we were worried because we were like, oh no, have we broken it down enough? And is this the right age group? Because the words are easy enough to read and the rhyming makes it simple, but will they be able to think about or to see themselves in the characters? And we were totally blown away with their responses and their ability to join in. And I think that kind of what we were speaking about in the beginning, when you're seeing stories that are about, kids with a lot of privilege, the first time that you don't, it's like, oh, I go back to Guatemala every Christmas, and that's where I see my grandparents. And so there were a lot of personal narratives. And one of the reasons, like I think that made that more possible is writing in a first-person perspective, and allowing kids to see that their own experiences are sources of knowledge. Because oftentimes we don't think that, or we learn that like way late in life, that our experiences can teach us things. And so kids were joining in, reading the words with us. For littler kids, like little kids, I was reading this with my 2-year-old niece. And the thing that she loved most was the cat. So I don't know if you noticed, but there's a cat that makes its way in some form across like almost every page. So for like the really little kids who are just like enjoying the rhyme and like hearing words and your voice just out loud, like that is what is the most delightful.
I think that's the age at which, as you're saying, it sort of just permeates into that subconscious, so that hopefully that's knowledge that they can bring when they're trying to cope with whatever it is they're trying to cope with as they age.
Yeah.
I was just wondering, did you find it hard determining characters down or deciding on how many characters, which types of characters? And it seems like you could do an endless amount of combinations or that the book would just go on.
Yeah.
Well, so we started with research, and a lot of the characters are inspired by researchers that we know and love and that were colleagues of ours. So that really helped us, like thinking about people whose work we could make shine in a way that's different from the form that they're used to writing in. So for example, Hee Jung's character, who's translating for her mom from Korean to English, that's our friend Hae Young Kwan's work. And she interviewed like dozens and dozens of children in Los Angeles about their experiences. And so thinking about like how we can show that work while also teaching a lesson. Like Gloria as well is a work of Amir Estrada, who also graduated from USC and is now at ASU, and interviewed kids who street vend in Los Angeles with their parents. And at the time, street vending was criminalized. It's recently become decriminalized. So understanding how citizenship protects their parents as people who may have been born in the United States, but their parents were not. So some of those characters, it was like, it could have been anything, but some of it was like, all right, here are our friends, and like, what's a way to make this the most collective book in every circumstance by like lifting people we love up and taking inspiration from people we knew. Yeah. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah.
Do you have a question? Yeah.
What's the origin story of how you all both came together and then decided to translate what sounds like your academic work and values into something, a project aimed at young adults?
Yeah. LaToya.
Oh, yes. So we actually, can you all hear me fine? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Because I can project. So we actually, it's really interesting. We all studied intersectionality in undergrad. Chelsea and I were at undergrad at the same time at Spelman College and HBCU, while Carolyn was studying intersectionality in her work at UCLA, working with migrant communities, women's groups. And from there, we came into academia, grad school, with a working knowledge of intersectionality. But how we got to the book was two conversations that were going on at the same time. So the first began at an academic conference in 2017, where Carolyn and I, we were on a plane going to the conference, Sociologists for Women in Society, talking about how intersectionality it's a word that we use, we theorize it often in the academy, but we don't apply it into like making sure that it has access to everyday people, everyday lives, where they can use this tool, use this word to see better opportunities and really talk about the structure. While that conversation was happening, Chelsea and Carolyn were attending more the women's marches here in Los Angeles, and they also noticed that intersectionality was around, but again, it was still in a very white, middle-class, women-dominated narrative and space, and it wasn't being used to make room for other folks on the margins. So we brought those conversations together, and we decided to create a children's book.
I couldn't find, I may have missed it,
Yes. Yes.
So intersectionality is a theory that emerges from Black feminism. It's really explaining how identities and ideologies and institutions intersect. So often, like when something happens to us, it can feel like it's coming from multiple directions, but we think of it as a one-way street. So it's a way of saying, like, this experience I'm having, for example, and my work is around race and beauty. So my experience around having natural hair in the workplace is not just about my race, it's also about my gender. It's a way of talking about how these things intersect, and when you look at the multiple influences, how you can have a fuller picture or explanation of why you're feeling a certain thing or what experience is happening.
Mm-hmm.
So in the book, all of the kids are children, so age is another intersection, where you get privileges or you don't have privileges. So that's something that we hold constant in the book. And then what each character is demonstrating is how, when you add another layer onto that, for example, you might add religion and culture for Adila who's wearing a hijab, and sexism as a woman, a Muslim woman. It's not just her religion, it's not just her gender, and it's also culture, a culture of living in a society that thinks of that as other. So it's a way of holding multiple things up at the same time. I hope that helps.
And we have a diagram here to help with the detailed explanation.
Yeah.
So
That what is intersectionality? We wrote it down.
Yeah, we wrote it.
Any other questions? Yeah. We are at Libros Schmibros tomorrow in Boyle Heights at 4 p.m. for the reading hour. And then we'll be in New York for Drag Queen Story Hour at the Brooklyn Public Library. And then we go to Atlanta. We're doing stuff at Spelman because, we're alumni and we had to. So we're going there and share us books. DC at Politics and Prose. North Carolina, the Brooklyn Book Festival in September. So we're all over. We're making the rounds.
We're making it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Daughter Press is a feminist publisher. So the editor-in-chief is Jennifer Baumgartner. She was formerly of Feminist Press. And so they publish books by feminists for everyone, a wide variety of books, not just children's books. There are a couple others. Astro Baby is by Daughter. Jacuzzi in the Night Gasket, which is the first children's book to feature a sex worker as a parent in a really beautiful way. There's also Not My Idea by Anastasia Higginbotham, which is about a book about whiteness. But also there are books, please read this leaflet carefully, which is about, I think, endometriosis. It's a reflective memoir. Yeah, it's a new press, actually. It's her new venture, and her thought behind it of leaving Feminist Press and starting Daughter was thinking about feminist writing and feminist literature beyond the second wave. So a lot of the big institutions in feminism came out in the 70s, and she was hoping to do something different. So her books are Manifesta. She wrote Manifesta, I think, in the early 2000s, which is about, and another book about bisexuality. And so her goal and mission with Daughter is to just expand the feminist publishing landscape. Yeah. New York. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, if anybody wants to get a book, they're at the front counter, and they're going to be signing at this table here. So
Yes.
thanks for coming, everybody.
Thanks,
Thank
y'all.
you. And thank you for your questions. They were great.
You've been listening to the Skylight Books author reading series. Don't forget, you can listen to this and all of our other great podcasts at skylightbooks.com. Thanks again for stopping by, and we hope to see you soon.